Hey everybody, it's Shadowstar and Crystal here for another review of Supergirl. This time it's the finale of Season 1, and it was alright in some parts.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was pretty good. It reminds me a bit of the first season of Flash, where a lot of it is kind of sitting around and talking before the climax.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. Not as bad as that, because we still get a fun climax both with the fight and her pushing the Fort Ross away, but obviously we start off with the cliffhanger from last time with brainwashed Alex. We get a little bit of a fight, which is over quick, and then Alex is saved, and then Myriad's fixed in about 3 seconds, but oh well.
Yeah, it is a little annoying that they fix it just by talking. Like, I don't think that's how mind control works. Like,
You say that as if you know the answer to mind control.
I don't know. I mean, they tried to explain it with brain stuff, but then how would just hearing something cause it to... I don't know.
Well, they said it doesn't... Alex said it didn't block out her hearing, so...
Yeah.
I don't know, because, yeah, obviously Myriad's not as strong as people think. Oh, well. Obviously, yeah, we get that whole thing where we have the Beacon of Hope and all that stuff, and it's alright. I guess it's about as good as you can get. I mean, to be fair, when you got mind control, you have to figure out some silly reason to break free. What else could you think of?
But then after we solve that,
then after
the whole problem of everyone's gonna die.
After that, Superman is unconscious for no explicable reason other than the writers still need to figure out a way to keep him out of the show. For now. But yeah, obviously after that, Myriad is still active. They didn't destroy Myriad, they just stopped its mind control. So it's still going on and it's just getting worse to the point where everyone will die. So we do this swing thing where Kara's like, oh, what if I don't make it? I better go say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah.
So she says goodbye to everyone, and then we get the fight, which, hey, at least the fight was fun. It was quick, but it was fun, because we got Kara and John working together for about the first time. The only other time that happened is the episode with the White Martian, and that's the one thing everyone's been wanting, is some action with John Jones, because he hasn't had much, but he'll be having it more now that everyone knows who he is, but he's still the director of the DEO.
Yeah, I found that so weird. Like, I understand the president giving him a pardon because he's a hero. Like, okay, we'll erase your criminal charges. But you're gonna let him be director of the DEO? I would have guessed the president would say, okay, you're an alien, but you're free to live on this planet. Just go do something with your life. But letting him run the DEO?
Oh, well, he's a main cast member. We have to put him in charge of the DEO still. Oh, well.
No, promote Alex.
We'll get to that another day. Speaking of promotions, Kara's the one getting a promotion this season finale.
Yeah.
To what? Well, we'll find out what job she gets next season. But yeah, she gets promoted and gets her own office, and now she's no longer Kat's assistant, but we'll still see him around. But all in all, we get all that, we get the celebration, we get this awkwardness with whether or not Kara and James are still going to be together, which is a stupid plot.
I know, they keep talking about it. They're like, no, it's not going to work. But then in the end, they kiss anyway at the party.
Yeah, obviously that. We get the climax of her flying Fort Ross away, which was actually a really good scene.
Until you remember that Jean did absolutely nothing, and
Why
he
didn't
could
he
have helped.
He could have helped, and because he's a Martian, he doesn't need oxygen, because Mars presumably still doesn't actually have oxygen in this Earth, so his species doesn't need it, so why doesn't he help her fly away? Then he can take her and quickly get back down to Earth before she suffocates.
Yes. But it was still nice that
Alex
managed to save her.
As nitpicking aside, it was still a good scene, and they still pulled off the feat of making, you know, that's the thing, when you got somebody who's supposed to be strong, trying to find a scene where it looks like a task is difficult but doable is always interesting, but they did it.
Yeah.
You can tell just by looking, it looks heavy for her. But yeah, and then obviously we get the cliffhanger where for some reason there's a Kryptonian pod flying and we find it and there's something inside it.
I know, but I find it so silly, that last shot where she's like, oh my god. What? Oh my god, it's a person? Spoiler alert, she does not know him.
Yeah. I mean, I know. I suppose they wanted to say, oh my god, as if they could leave us on the cliffhanger that she might know him. But she says, oh my god, as if she does, but she doesn't. So the tease would only work if it was accurate. You can't tease us with something that's never going to be true. Speaking of teasers with things that'll never be true, they do this thing where Maxwell Lord has some of those, I forgot what he called them, the little ball thing that was Myriad. He has some of those with General Lane, but spoiler alert, we'll never see Maxwell Lord again.
He was good.
As of this point in the recording, we will never see Maxwell Lord again, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
We'll explain why we probably aren't seeing him again next episode. And the next time we do see General Lane, it will be years in the future with a different actor. Don't worry, there's a reason why we can have different actors. But,
I mean, Maxwell Lord was good. I mean, he and Alex held hands at one point, which was interesting.
Well, I mean, they were dying, and we'll learn there's nothing to that soon. But, I mean, here's the thing about Maxwell Lord. A lot of people compare him to other DC Superman characters, and although he's not around, we will eventually have another kind of morally ambiguous billionaire filling his role. So, yeah. But, yeah, I'll explain why Maxwell Lord ain't sticking around, and we'll get to that in the next episode. But there's a lot to unpack next episode.
Okay.
But I still think it was still a good finale. And that's the thing. I do like their speech kind of, as you pointed out, paralleled what we just had on Arrow, where they said, oh, this world is dying, we're going to kill all the humans. To be fair, it's smarter than Damien's plan, because we're not nuking the whole world. Just the humans will die and the animals will thrive. So this time he's actually correct, rather than causing nuclear Armageddon.
Yeah.
So
on Arrow, no one talked about all the poor animals.
I don't know what their plan was. Did they preserve any animals? Oh, well, that's Arrow's problem. It's not, I mean, to be fair, that's the thing. At least this time, it's not a bad plan. It's just going to kill all the humans.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, it was still a good finale, and I'm going to give it a 9, just a 9.
Yeah, I was going to go 8.5.
It's still a good finale. It's not nearly as crazy as other finales, but I think it's one of the better finales we've had. There are better Supergirl finales, but I think this is one of the better finales we've had so far. So, thoughts on the first season as a whole?
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good. I do agree with a lot of people when I say the first handful of episodes, they weren't awful, but they were a little weak and slow.
Oh yeah, one funny thing in this episode is, because I didn't completely remember part of the end, when she was in space and I saw the pod coming, before I saw Alex's face, for a second I thought she was going to get back down because that other pod was going to push her.
That would have been interesting, but that happens later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do agree that the first handful of episodes in the season are a little weak, which is a shame because a lot of people say, oh, I didn't get into the show. And I always tell them, stick through it, try and get through the first season, because the back half of this season was good, and season 2 and 3 and so on just get better and better in my opinion.
I know. This season was pretty good. We got Max Lord, we got Cat Graham, we got...
There's a lot of good stuff in this season.
Yeah.
But I do agree, even writers have said they're glad they did things better in Season 2 and onwards, and we'll explain some of the ways they make the later seasons a bit more interesting, because the episodes sometimes did feel a little dull at times. But it was still a good season, especially near the end, and that's what counts.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts going into Season 2? I mean, you know most of the stuff about Season 2. But
I've seen most of Season 2, maybe not the ending, but I got through most of it.
And you know the general stuff that happens, so not everything, but you don't have a great memory of every episode.
I don't quite remember the overarching stuff of the season. I just remember little bits here and there.
That's the thing, the further we go in, the more blind you'll come, and the less episodes you'll know, so that's always good, the more surprises you can have.
Yeah.
But, well, I don't remember what the first... I believe the first episode next season is just called The Adventures of Supergirl, so...
Okay.
Whatever. Anyway, we'll see you next time for Season 2 of Supergirl and other things as well.
See you next time, guys.